that there was at least one attorney who was sort of the appellate attorney who worked through the trial with the trial attorneys to advise that exact thing that you're talking about. It sort of happened within our agency, but it's been branched off from there. And I don't know the exact policy reason for that, but I think that, and don't quote me on this, but I think there were some issues as well with if you have an appellate attorney who's part of your trial team, they can't claim ineffectiveness on themselves. So if there was some ineffectiveness or there were some issues maybe that had to do with the lawyers, they might be precluded in some ways from doing that. And I think the idea behind it, and like I say, I'm not an expert at this in any way, shape, or form, but I think part of the idea was you do want that separation so that you can look back at it, more objectively, and you have everything that might possibly be an error that can be used in your favor as a defendant. Not you personally, if you're looking at it from why don't I have an appellate lawyer here, can be brought at the appellate level. You understand what I'm saying? Is that it precluded you from doing certain things if you had the same attorneys trying to do the trial and the appeal kind of at the same time.
Oh yeah, excuse me, I apologize. I understand what you're saying. I just went through that process, and it was just that when I was going through the process, the DA used to quote all kind of law that would come out of different law books, and my attorney would not object to it because he would disagree that case law was applicable to that certain situation. And then once I was convicted and put on death row, and I went and researched it myself, I found out that the law that he was actually quoting had nothing to do with the situation inside the courtroom. So I always thought that if they had an independent appellate lawyer assigned to that stage of the thing, then they could, have a check and balance system in place that will truly preserve the record to allow more cases to be heard in an unbiased way on the state level.
Okay, well, I think we're going to have to cut it off there because we even went past 7 o'clock and I can't stand up any longer. But we owe a debt of gratitude to these folks for telling their stories in their own words. I've been moved. I'm sure everybody else has. I want to thank the OCU chapter of the American Constitution Society, the Federalist Society, and our student organization, for the Criminal Law Association, for co-sponsoring this event. And I know that Dennis has his books to sell, and people might answer some questions informally. The next big event to take place in this courtroom is 2 weeks from tomorrow. It's our Quinlan Lecture with Reva Siegel from Yale Law School. I've got some little postcards that I'll put up here on the table for those of you who are guests. We'd love for you to come back for that as well. Please join me in thanking our panel.